Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela. I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady and welcome back to Whips, Bits and Chat number 96. Right, come on, let's get a move on and let's go and see what I've got for you today. Right, so first up this week, of course, we have the video roundup. Now, I'm really sorry. There's not been a great deal of videos coming out this week, and also I had to drop out of the lives that were scheduled for this week as my back went and I was on serious pain meds. Okay, it would have been funny to watch me struggle, but I have a feeling I would have been effing and jeffing all over the place, meaning swearing, if you don't know the phrase. Yeah, so I feel like I would have been effing and jeffing all over the place every time I moved in the slightest, so it was safer not to do the lives. But the videos we did get out to, this week were our Stitch a Week, which this week was the ribbed stitch, and we are already on to week number 6. Crikey, this series is going so fast that I've had to record some more. We then had our video on Thursday, which was the Jumping Jacks Aragurumi pattern. Now, this is a pattern that, of course, I got to test. It was by another creator. If you haven't had a chance to see it, the link will be up here, and I advise that you go and do it. Big fat reason, there's a competition in it, so make sure you enter. Then, of course, we had our standard Throwback Friday, and that was pretty much it for this week. Sorry, as I said, sorry it was so lapsed. Right, so now it's time for completed whips. I'm pulling the funny face because I've got a completed whip to show you, but I finished it last month. Of course, it is there's a little cheeky chappy here. This is a pattern by our gorgeous YOH Crochet, and it's called Jumping Jacks. I will pop all the details for him in the description box and down below so that you can go over to her channel and have a nose, and also over to her Ravelry shop. If you like his pattern, you can purchase it from there. Now, I haven't actually got any other completed projects as such, because I've been working on the videos for a Stitch a Week. Now, what I did do when my brain wasn't quite playing and my back was really dodgy was I opened up my own videos and I started making the Stitch a Week. I thought I might as well join in. Yeah, that's how bad my brain was. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. So what I've actually gone and done is made all the squares again, or at least squares 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2 and 3, I think. Yep. I've remade those ones using the sizing that's now written in the description box of those videos, in case you're deciding you're going to join in and you just want to do it a little bit easier, because of course blocks 1, 2 and 3 will have amendments on them in case you don't read that description box, or of course you were one of my gorgeous 7 that started early, or have started and joined in as we go, because of course those original blocks are a lot smaller, so there will be an extension video added at a later point that will bring the originals. Where are you hiding, you lot? They're that small, I've lost them. Now I've put them away, haven't I? There we go. Yeah, so the originals will be getting brought up to the same size as the rest. So there will be some really cool extension videos to add on, so it does mean then that you will end up with another 3, possibly 4 blocks to make your project a little bit bigger, if you choose to do that. So for any of you that have been hiding from YouTube at the moment. Let me run through the stitches that we have already had a go at, hopefully, and if you haven't, maybe you might want to. The first one up is the cobblestone stitch. I think this one's gorgeous. This is a week number 1. Now remember, you don't have to do the same colourways as me, you don't have to use the same yarns as me, you can do it however you like. All the information, of course, is in the drop down boxes, along with the tutorial on how to do the stitches. Week number 2, I quite like this one, is a closed shell stitch. Week number 3 is another cute one. It's the shells and chain, so this gives us a bit more of an open work. Then we have week number 4. Now week number 4 will need a little bit of mod, a little bit of fixing if you've done it exactly how the video says. But if you've done it how the description box says, you'll be fine. Okay, so week number 4 is of course the C2C mini. Basically all we're going to do to rectify this is add another row of squares. If you're following on later on, if not, come back to me for the border. Right, the next one up is the C2C standard week number 5. There's no extra mucking around needed for this one. From this point on, you see all the squares are going to be this size. And then this week's one, of course, was our ribbed stitch. Look at how stretchy it is. I love this one. Love how it worked up with this scrap ball of yarn as well. Right, so that is all of them so far. Now, I'm not spoiling it. I'm so tempted to, but I'm not spoiling it. So I'm not showing you next week's. Or week 8. I love how my week 8's turned out. But yeah, no, can't show you any more than that. Now remember, if you do decide to join in on Stitch a Week, send me some photos. I don't mind if you send me one once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, or once every 2 months. Just send the pictures so then I can show them off in a future whip spits and chat. Now it's time for my whip. Okay, so if you was here last week, you'll have already seen my little whip with my little mistake. Now my little whip is a mosaic crochet. Now this pattern, of course, is by our gorgeous Courtney at Fiberfox Studios. The pattern is available over on her Etsy shop, and she also has a tutorial over on her page, so I'll pop those links in the description box down below. I might be able to sneak one up here. Okay, now last week I had that much done, and I'd mucked up. I think it was, no, it wasn't that much. Oh, sorry. I had that much done, and I'd mucked up on one of my repeats, and I'd added or forgotten, I should say, to do a complete row. So I had a row of white floating around somewhere over here, I think it was. Yep, it's over here. Now I went back and I corrected it. Well, I didn't correct it, I fixed it. I bodged it. What I did was I did a standing double crochet into the front loop only that I'd missed, and then single crocheted all the way along on all of the front loop onlys that I'd missed, and tied them off, and then sewed the tops of the single crochets into where they should have been in here. It's hard for me to explain it really, but if you look really closely, you may be able to see the rectified stitch row, which is this one here. I can feel it because it bumps out, but not too much, not overly noticeable, and on camera it can't be seen. Sweet! I should have just told you I'd ripped it all back, but I didn't. As I said, I bodged it, and thankfully the bodge looks alright. So I carried on going. Okay, so that was the second repeat there. Hold on, where's it finished? That way round, isn't it? And then I got on to the third. So there we go. That is what it's at the moment. So it's 1, 2, 3 repeats, I think. Could be 4. I'm a bit lost. But I'm enjoying doing it. I'm just sitting there in the evenings going one way with each colour work. And a cheeky way, I'm remembering how many rows I get up to, because of course I get quite forgetful. And I finish a row or get quarter of the way through the row and think, what row was I on? And I'm now working off of the written pattern rather than the video, because I'm trying to teach myself to follow along written patterns a bit more than just doing them as a video. Because normally with the video, I stop, start, rewind a little bit, and do that, and that's how I know where I've got up to. Whereas now I'm learning, well, not learning, but I'm trying to do written patterns a bit more. So my cheeky trick is I tie up the ends in blocks of 10. Okay, at one point I did actually sew in some ends, and then I found out that Corney's got a video about a border that you can add to the items, and it hides all the ends. So I'm not sewing them in at the moment. It depends on if I work well with the border. If I work well with the border, I am just going to work over these. If I don't, then yeah, I'm going to have to sew them in and hide them. But yeah, as I said, I do it in blocks of 10, and then once the 10's finished, they're all joined together like this one is here as a block of 30. So I know that that's a complete a repeat done. So of course I've now finished. But the only drawback to doing that with this pattern, particularly this pattern, is that you start on row number 2. So I always have to leave row number 32 out of this little block, so then I can pretend it's number 1 in the count. I know, bat crazy, but it works for me. So there you go. I've been gabbering for so long you've forgotten what it looked like. There we go. Now I'm going to keep going on this. My husband's decided he does actually like it, and he won't mind this being on the bed up in our bedroom. So what I'm going to do is make it as a runner for the bottom of the bed. It'll probably be kicked on the floor within 5 minutes and never go back on, but I'll have made it. And worst case scenario is, if we don't use it like that, I can always use it as a shawl. Yeah, like a shawl or a really thick scarf or something. I can sort of wear it. I'll find some weird wonderful way of tying it around me so it looks like a piece of clothing. Right, I'm all excited. Yesterday I was on another creators live when our gorgeous Dodo gave me a nudge and told me that she has done one of the winner only patterns and sent me an email with a picture attached. So she was starting to tell me all about it, and I said to her, whoa, stop, wait. I haven't seen the photo, and I won't be opening it up till tomorrow till I can get in front of this computer, because I like to record my reactions to your bigger projects, okay? And of course one of these corner to corners is definitely a bigger project. So now I've got this going, I've got my emails up, and I'm just about to open up Dodo's. It's got a really diddy image, which is really cool because I can't make it out, it's too far away. So this is a Dodo's very first graph can, or whatever you want to call it. It's her very first go at this. So let's see how she's done. Whoa, she's done wicked. Oh, that is so cute. Now what Dodo did say was that she didn't have the exact colours that she wanted or that the key called for, so she's had to improvise. But it doesn't matter. That's the good thing, isn't it, about creating these sort of images. We can chop and change colours around. Now, do you know who it is she's gone and done? She's only done this month's winner only pattern. Now this month is called Bad Brother, and she's done 59 rows, and she had it done in a weekend. That girl is a turbo speedy, absolutely a turbo speedy. Now I love it. I think you've done brilliant, and you are the very first person to have actually made it as well. So thank you ever so much for sending me in the picture, and I will now pop a copy of it up so that everybody else can have a nose as well. So as we had no lives this week, we've got no live winners for this pattern. So stick a comment and down below, including a Bad Brother, and I'll pop you into a draw that'll be announced at the end of the month to win yourself a copy of this pattern. I'll be doing the draw on the 26th around midday, okay? So, and that is midday GMT. So make sure you get your entries in before then. Also read the description box down below that's got all the rules in it. The quick brief is, make sure you subscribe to the channel, that you've got your subscription open, and it's open to all my subscribers. And yeah, make sure you add that comment. Another day, more recording. Right, so and now let's get on with your gorgeous Stitch a Week squares. We've got about 7 of you now, maybe even 8 that are sneaking in and doing it. So let's go and see who got their squares in this week before the Friday cut-off time. Do you know what? That music is now starting to remind me of the sort of music that they used to use in the BBC TV programme called Harry Enfield and Chums. So if you want to have a search out of some really silly comical stuff and you need a good giggle, have a look on YouTube and see if you can find any Harry Enfield and Chums episodes. Okay, so earlier on in the week on the Friday, I popped out my whips, bits and chat. Now, it has been brought to my attention by a gorgeous Dodo that you've only got half a video. You haven't. You've actually got the majority. It was only the last little bits of me explaining that last little section of the video, and then, of course, me saying goodbye to you all. That had been cut off with the editing software. Now, what I should explain is at the moment, my computer has gremlins. They like to jump from one different application to another. Basically, they started off a couple of weeks ago, didn't it, with with me not being able to open up Word documentation, anything in the Word. It would show me it, but I couldn't edit, I couldn't do anything. So we completely wiped the whole computer and we started again. So Word worked. Then Photoshop didn't, but then it did. Now it's the editing software's turn. It will work one day and I'll be able to edit everything and download and sort of squidge it all together and download it into a file ready to go. Other days, as I go to rewatch the whole thing to make sure that it's okay, I start getting black screening, it will freeze, and it does all this silly stuff. And if I shut it down, it resets the save. Basically, it doesn't auto save it, so it will only save to when I'd opened it up earlier on that day. So if I've done a lot of work on it, I can't auto save it. Yeah, so what had happened was it had done the same thing again. It had saved up to that point, but it hadn't saved the last section. So that is why you didn't get all the video. But I will just have to sit and rewatch my video for the umpteenth time to make sure that this one has got everything in it. We should be okay. Keep everything crossed for me. And if you spot anything that you think I may have missed, pop it in the description box down below, and you never know, there might be a bolt-on video later. Okay, so and now it's time for a puppy update. Now, of course, last week I told you about Liam and the squirrel, or it might have been the week before. But anyway, Liam and the squirrel. The squirrel came back yesterday. Or at least I thought he'd come back yesterday. What happened was, I was in here editing, as normal, and I heard Liam tapping on the window. So normally he would come into me and give me a paw and then drag me out to let him out. But this time round he was just tapping on the window really quite gently. So I've gone outside, gone into the lounge to find him laying on the floor just gently tapping. I was like, I wonder what that's all about. I've looked in the garden because of course we've got massive patio windows so I can see them. Looked out there, there was nothing there. So I thought, okay, it's safe, I'll let him out. He probably just needs the loo. So I've let him out and he's gone round to the side of the house. And he's there springing on his back legs, not onto the wall, just bouncing up onto his back legs, looking up at our guttering. Now, the property we're in is a 2-storey for any of you that are in different countries. So it's a 2-storey, the guttering runs around the bit between the walls and the roof. Okay. Now underneath our guttering we've got a couple of areas where birds normally go in and nest. Yeah, it's annoying, and you'll have heard the birds when I was in my purple room. Sometimes I used to have to stop editing because the babies would wake up for feeding and all you could hear was them and not me. But he was looking up at that particular nest and I'm like, oh, but are there birds up there, mate? Are they due to sort of fly or something? Can you see the babies? All the normal sort of, I'm talking to myself type comments. And as I look up, I see movement. So I moved slightly round a bit more to see a lump of fur. There was only a squirrel in there, right? So this squirrel's sort of stuck his bum out at us, and then turned round and then come out, but gone up and onto the roof. And of course, I can't see up onto the roof from where I was standing, or anywhere really in the garden or outside. So of course Liam's there bouncing like a kangaroo, going round the whole house trying to look up at the roof. He's got no chance. But yeah, trying to look up at the roof to see the squirrel. So of course at that I've called him in because I want the squirrel to come down and go and get back in the trees where he's meant to be, where his main food sources are. And so of course Liam's come in, and me and Liam then sat on the floor, or laid on the floor, sorry, and looking out the window, and we're both like this, sitting with our hands, waiting for the squirrel to come back. It was about 20 minutes. He was there like that. And I was pretty much down by the side, but I was also doing my physio. But it meant then he had something else to entertain him rather than coming to try and help me with my physio. So keep your ears out. There might be a squirrel update next week. You never know, I might one day be able to get that photograph of it for you. Right, that's it for me for today. I'm going to be heading off now. I've got to go and do stuff with the family. So I will see you all really, really soon. If you can, please stay in. Definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.